Greetings and salutations, completely random strangers. Today we're going to be making the concentrated hot sauce recipe that my family usually makes, because I'm bored and, 2024 hasn't brought enough suffering to the people, so I thought I'd contribute something. Alright, what you're going to need for this recipe is, some kind of chile to make the hot sauce. This one's ghost pepper in a repurposed container. I also got this cheap free salt from when the place I was working in shut down. I also got this expensive premium Chinese salt, Ajinomoto. Got these coriander seeds, empty container. A couple of stalks of lemongrass, and a chunk of ginger. I also got this bottle of fish sauce, which is going to be pretty much the main thing. And this traditional Mexican hand grinder. It's called a Molcajete. I also got a couple spoons to measure stuff and the cutting board, I guess. As well as the sharpest knife I own. How shiny is that? Alright. My dad told me it was a bad idea to make this salsa recipe because somebody might sue for liability, something about ulcers. But I say, if macing your entire room was not warning enough that you probably shouldn't be eating this, then that's your fault. So yeah, we're gonna go from dry ingredients to wet ingredients, hard to soft, I guess. Freaking, sorry. Mostly just work by feeling. That should be enough. Which one? Alright. You gotta be kind of careful when grinding these things because they like to jump around. I probably should have mentioned earlier, might want to get an N95 respirator for this. Or some kind of mask. As I mentioned earlier, we will be macing the room. That looks good enough. Alright. Give me a second. Gotta put this on so that I don't cough all over whatever I'm making. Normally I wouldn't care, but because we're making a video, there we go. Yeah, that looks like enough. Right. More of this.
Forgot the most important ingredient.
Which one?
Elbow grease.
Yeah. If you don't have at least a little bit of strength, this is going to be a very annoying, slow process. I said earlier, everything jumps. It's kicking up a lot of tiny little microscopic particles into the air that will eventually fill the entire room during the process of grinding it. Okay, that did not help. Well, good enough, I guess. From this point, having been finished grinding this to as much as it will, because this refuses to be ground very well, just going to transfer this over here because it gets significantly harder to grind the more contents are in the molcajete. That should be fine. It's going to come to about here-ish. And when it's all done, it's going to make about that much and should last 4 people about a month. Or 1 person about 4 months. I don't know. It deteriorates over time, so.
Do you store it outside or in the...
In the fridge. Unless it's wintertime, in which case it doesn't really matter. Do you have powdered ginger?
I don't think so. Do we have powdered ginger?
So I'm gonna have to add the ginger after the fact later.
Well, when I get more
Like powdered ginger, because that has like black spots in it. But that brings us to our next ingredient, which is lemon tea root. It just grows in the garden. Very important to be very careful when you're cutting this, because if you don't, you're gonna get a bunch of like really long strings in the salsa. That should be enough. Alright. From having everything chopped up, we're going to put this in here. And if we had ginger that we could have used, we would have sliced that up and put it in there, but that's a bit too old for my liking. Yeah, be careful where you breathe when you're making this. Alright, just montage. Alright, from here, all of the dry ingredients and the slightly wetter ingredients have been mixed together thoroughly. We can add in the final ingredient. Would have been better if I had ginger, but you know, life happens, stuff runs. I only make this like once or twice a month. Forgot to mention, it's important that you make it using a molcajete and not a blender, so that your salsa tastes like 1,000 dead chiles before and not chemical blender plastic. Anyway, just alright, from here we're gonna mix in the fish oil or fish sauce. All of it. From here, the kitchen will stop smelling like ghost peppers and start smelling like fish for a minute. Eventually, the smell will change again when all of the ingredients have been thoroughly mixed together and integrated. The salsa will be done in about like an hour or two after sitting there. If you got this far and actually followed this recipe, you're probably coughing and heaving on the floor by now, unless you took my advice and put on a mask. Looking more like the particles underneath.
Let it rest for an hour?
Yeah, an hour or two. 20 minutes at least. By now, well, I guess a good way to indicate when this is done would be like once the room has finally cleared and doesn't smell like burning anymore. Because usually by the time all the dust settles, it's done, more or less. Some people might be wondering how you clean a molcajete. Short answer is you don't. Long answer is if you're making some food, you can put water in it, scrub it a bit with a bit of salt, and then just pour the water out into the food that you're making and it'll be relatively clean. It should be good enough for leaving it there till next time. One of the things you should know with cooking salsa in general is that it does have an expiration date at some point down the future. It's not that it's going to go bad because it's such an acidic thing that it would kill any microorganisms or anything that would get into it, but it does deteriorate over time. It gets less spicy, you know, more of your white friends will be able to enjoy it, stuff like that. So yeah. If you are not used to making salsa, do not try this at home. The reason I only used a tiny bit of ghost pepper was not because I cannot handle the full 100% ghost pepper. It's that it would have, well, it would have incapacitated everyone in the room. And ghost pepper doesn't really have any flavor. Just like, it's such a disappointing thing when I tried it the first time. I mean, it did hurt significantly. Until like 10 a.m. the next morning after I ate it for breakfast. But, like, I'm used to it by now. So, this is the safe for human consumption version. Don't try it with all ghost pepper. You will lose out on a lot of the chile flavor. And we'll come back to this when it's done. You want to watch a movie or play a game or something? So at this point, should be about as integrated as it's going to be. It's a bit thicker now.
Hold it up.
And it doesn't smell like fish anymore.
Hold it up.
Or not as much.
Okay, there.
Does it show? One of the things I forgot to mention at the start of the video is you're going to want a container that doesn't corrode easily because this is mildly corrosive and it will eat through weaker plastics. Mom said she tried to buy new containers for the salsa at some point, but it just ate straight through. So, there you have it. Concentrated salsa.
Okay, now it's recording.
Alright. I was told to try a bit of the salsa even though I know how it tastes and I'm not going to have much of a reaction to it. This isn't the kind of salsa you want to dip things into. It's another thing I probably should have mentioned. If you dip things into it, it's going to go bad much faster and deteriorate a lot quicker. Tastes exactly the same as it usually does. Regrettably, I was not able to add one of the ingredients on account of the little black spots and the holes in this, apparently. So, it's a bit regrettable, but all in all, more or less the same as usual. I guess let me know if you want to see more cooking content in the future. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing with this channel. Thinking about just playing games, but you know, that could change.